Welcome to the Your Business on Purpose podcast, the ultimate resource for women business owners looking to confidently navigate their entrepreneurial journey while upholding their principles. I'm Dawnette Palmore, your host and fellow entrepreneur. Join me as we immerse ourselves in illuminating conversations with accomplished experts spanning various fields across the business spectrum. Together, we'll unearth strategic insights into seizing opportunities and ensuring that your business is equipped with the essential elements aligned with your purpose and values. Hello, my fellow entrepreneurs, and welcome back to another episode of Your Business on Purpose podcast. As you know, my name is Dawnette Palmore, and I am your host. And I am so excited to be here with you today. And I want to say, if you are watching this on YouTube, if you are listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to it, if you can stop and subscribe, like it, give it a rating, give it a comment, I would be ever so grateful. It helps us to get to more women faster so we can get more women to financial resilience faster. That's what this podcast is about, helping you build your business and helping you to build financial resilience. And so I need your help to do that by liking, sharing. If you guys can share this, if this brings value to you, can you share it with your audience and encourage them to do the same? Let's help more women become financially independent and resilient in 2025. And let's do it together. So with that said, today I want to talk about money systems. And these money systems, there's money systems that are going to help your money to work for you, right? We're not here to just make money, pay bills, and die. We need our money to work for us. Our money is a tool that we have brought that shows that we have served and brought value to the marketplace, and they pay us based off that value. Now, sometimes our money can disappear really quickly, and sometimes it doesn't. It disappears really quickly if we're not paying attention, and we can be very intentional with our money when we're paying attention and creating systems for our money. And there really is not another way around this. You have to have a system, right? Systems work. When systems are put in place, they work. And so we're going to talk about that today. And if you're tired of feeling scattered or ready to finally create cash flow, okay, cash flow and clarity around your finances, then you want to make sure you tune in, because this is going to help you do just that. And let's start about why systems matter. So if we just wing it, which you guys have heard me say on many podcasts, if we're not keeping track of our money, if we don't know where our money's going, what happens to it? I don't know. It disappears. It gets spent on things we really didn't intend for it to get spent on. We tend to almost mindlessly spend, even in our businesses. This applies to both our business and our personal. So some mindless spending in business could be, maybe we signed up for a course, or we bought this thing to enhance, but it's not really going to do anything for our business. It's not going to move us forward. It wasn't in line with our goals and values and with what we want to do. We can actually spend more money eating out in our business. We think, oh, we can write this off. Or I just did it. It was only a few bucks here, a few bucks there, but those add up, right? And I'm not saying you got to cut that stuff out. Nope. I'm just saying we want to be intentional with our dollars. And when we have a system in place, it gives us freedom with boundaries. Okay. So we have the freedom to spend that money that we said we wanted to spend, but we also have a boundary, like that's our limit for this month or this quarter or whatever, however you set that up. And when we're just winging it with money, it brings this chaos. And especially with variable income, I mean, it can get out of control really quick, right? We get paid a certain amount, and maybe, not we get paid a certain amount, but maybe a certain amount of money comes in that month, and we're counting on something, but it doesn't come through, and it's not going to come through next month. Now we're going to do, because this bill's due, that's bill due, and I overspent here and I overspent there. So you can see how quickly it can become very chaotic. And there's so much freedom when we have systems built in, when we're following systems, when we're being intentional, right? We have peace of mind. We're going to have clarity and we're going to have control over our money. And peace of mind with our money is indescribable. It relieves, no matter how much money you have or you don't have, if you have peace with your money, it relieves so much stress. When you're intentional with your money, it relieves so much stress because you know where every dollar is going. You know what you can and cannot do. Makes things very, very simple. So, also, I want to say systems are not meant to be restrictive, and they're not restrictive. They're actually empowering. And it's because when you think about a system, there's always a purpose behind a system, right? Of course. Why else would we have a system? But they try to think about how to explain how this is so empowering. So if we know what's going to be done with our money before it even hits our hands or our bank account, we already have a plan for our money. We already know what we're going to be doing with that money. That's empowering. Instead of it hitting our account, we're like, okay, we have all this, we're going to pay our bills. And then we go to our account and there's like no money because we forgot we paid this bill, or we forgot we bought this, or we signed up for that, whatever it may be. Systems actually create empowerment and not restriction when they're properly done. Obviously, we could be very restrictive with a system if we wanted to be, but that's why we create boundaries with freedom. We have to have a mix of both. And this also helps us to do the things that we want to do, make sure our bills are paid, make sure that we have money to grow our business, to hire, to market, and to do all the things to grow and become what we want to become. So, we have to have, number one, a money tracking system. It is, and you're going to hear me say this 100 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, you're going to hear me say this. It is so very essential to know your numbers. And you're probably saying, okay, how am I going to know my numbers when it's variable? I don't know. People aren't going to pay. So that's probably actually another conversation about invoicing and having people pay you on time or early. But knowing your numbers. So we can forecast. If we know what our business costs to run every single month. So if we never made any money that month, we still have to pay bills, right? So what is, we can say overhead, right? What is our business cost? Do we have, what subscriptions? Do we have to pay rent? Do we have light, utilities, subscriptions, employees, subcontractors, things like that? So we need to know what that looks like. How do we do that? You got to go look at it. You got to pull those bank statements and you got to look. And as you guys have heard me say before, you want to do at least 3 months. Just because sometimes we don't pay stuff every month. Sometimes things change and we just want to get kind of an average. So we can know what our business costs to run. And we can forecast our income, right? So if we have clients or customers, and we have a service, we know if we have memberships, what that's going to kind of be like. Now, we can't control if people stay or not to an extent, but we can say, okay, we have this many members. This is what this income is. We have this project and the invoice is due here, here, and here. And we can start projecting with those numbers. And there's a whole, like, I'm gonna have to do a whole podcast on digging into that. But also you want to use a tool. Okay. So when I first started this 11 years ago, I used pen and paper and I had a spending plan and I wrote everything in every week. I wrote it in. I think that's good to do till you kind of get the hang of it. And then you can go, usually I say every pay period, or if you're in your business, I probably do it twice a month to once a month. But I've been doing this a long time. So you want to, get in a rhythm and get to know how to use the tool that you're going to use. So whether it's a spreadsheet or an app, you choose, but use whatever tool that is most comfortable with you. And maybe it's going to take a few different spreadsheets or apps, which, to see what you like. There's sometimes like, don't hate me for this, but I'm an Android person. And for the life of me, my brain cannot figure out Apple stuff. Like, why isn't there a back button on Apple? Anyways, just go with the tool that you like to use. And again, don't be afraid to try out a couple and see which one you like. Super there are so many options out there, and don't spend too much time. Use one for a little bit. If you feel like, oh, this isn't really what I like, use another one. And if you find, I'm not really liking this, I kind of like the other one better, go back, go forward, but just get some tool in place, right? And then, tracking. Now, I said you should probably do it weekly when you're first starting. And I get this question from clients all the time. How often should I be doing this? And on your personal side, as I said, you should be doing it every pay period until you actually, I still do it every pay period because I pay myself a salary or a paycheck, salary, paycheck, whatever. So I go in every week because I pay myself every week, and I see what needs to be done, what needs to move, what's coming in, what's going out, and I just kind of check on it. Spend maybe 3 to 5 minutes in it every week. And then at the end of the month, I spend probably 15 because I'm going to start planning for the next month and kind of, is there adjustments? Did I go over? Is there something I need to move around? How do I make, how is this going to look this time? Did I account for everything? Did I forget about something? Same thing in my business. You do the same thing. You plan for the next month at the end of the month, and you put those projections in there. Unless you have something that's consistent. If you have something consistent, you put it in there on the days you're going to get paid. Or if you're getting paid, if your invoices are coming in like all the time, then I just do like per week, whatever's coming in for that week. And so then once you get the flow, like I said, you can move it to maybe twice a month. And I would really stay very, I would say do it at least twice a month, especially in a business because so much can be going on in a business. And you just want to make sure that you're accounting for everything, especially if you're just getting started. You really want to really be tuned in and know what's going on with your money. And in your personal, like I said, do it every pay period, whatever that looks like for you. And then, of course, you need a spending plan. And I don't call this a budget, I call it a spending plan. So, really, a spending plan is a plan for our money. It's being intentional, right? It's purpose over restriction. So, when we've done, all our work, we know what our goals and our values are. Um, there's so much work that could be done in this. We can really hone in on where we want to spend our money and really being intentional about that. So we have a plan, right? The plan shows what our projected income is, what our projected expenses are, and then it shows when we're going to allocate, when are we going to pay those bills? When are we going to pay our expenses? What's left over? Is there any left over? What can I squeeze in there? Because I have this thing I want to save for. I want to put some in my emergency fund, or I want to pay off this card. Where can I fit that in there? And see, we really can't see that from a 30,000 foot view if we're just looking at our bank statements, or we're just looking at QuickBooks, or we're just looking at our phone app. We can't really see the detail. And that's what a plan really is. It's really detail and diving in and digging in to see, okay, I think I'm going to have $500 left over this month. They can go towards this goal, or it can go towards my Hills and Valley fund. Like, it starts opening possibility. And I always say, I tell my clients this, like, it feels like you get a raise when you start implementing this spending plan, because not because you did get a raise, but you now feel like you have more money to do the things that you want to do, because it's not going like at the end of the month, you're not saying, I don't know where my money's at. I don't know what happened to it. And when you start getting more and more traction with this, you're just like, wow, you start seeing this savings build and that savings build and this bill getting paid and this is getting paid and everything is just flowing and it frees up your mind to be able to be creative and do what you do best and what you were put here to do, right? To serve the world in whatever your marketplace is. Um, and of course, you can use these sheets for forecasting, right? For predicting what might be coming in. And then, of course, you'll go and correct it as things do come in to what is the proper amount. So you don't want to, I mean, we have a plan, right? We say where we want these dollars to go. And maybe, we know what the minimum is that we need to get this month because we know how much our business costs. So we know this is the minimum. So if I have more, if more than what I need comes in, this is what I'm going to do. And that's how you bring peace of mind to yourself and start gaining control of your money. Start getting clarity on what your money's doing and start being intentional with your money on where you want it to go. And I hope this helps you, and I'm going to continue this the rest of this month, which is April. It's spring. I love it. That means summer's on its way, and that really gets me excited. But I also want to tell you about a challenge that I'm having. Um, you're going to be able to sign up in the chat, not the chat, in the show notes. Always talking about chats, right? So in the show notes, look for the link, and it's going to be a fix your cash flow in 5 days and finally keep more of what you earn. So a 5-day cash flow challenge. That sounds amazing, right? We're going to talk about know your numbers. So we're going to dive more into day one of what we talked about today. How to get paid faster, increasing revenue without more work, cut cost without cutting growth, and then build long-term cash flow plan. So I'm super excited to have this. Make sure to have you join this challenge. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be with other entrepreneurs, and we're going to put more cash in your pocket. We're going to give ourselves raises. We're going to gain control of our money. We're going to get clarity over our money. We're going to be intentional with our money. That is what this 5-day challenge is. So make sure you go in the show notes, click the link. It's going to give you all the details, and I can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a good time. So as we wrap this up, remember that conducting business on purpose not only fuels your success, but also propels you towards a purposeful life. And until next time, embrace your journey of intentional business and purposeful living. This podcast is dedicated to you and all the incredible women out there breaking chains, pushing through, and striving to make it all work. Your support truly means the world to me. Could you do me a favor? Be a gem and leave a review. It will help us reach even more women, making a bigger impact. Your feedback is invaluable, and I would genuinely appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, ensuring you never miss an episode. Until next week, live a purposeful life in both your business and your finances.